Baby number 2. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So do we have a name?
No. We have some,
Today,
some really...
it's so special to me, so thank you.
I was the cover of the last WSJ mag, so...
3 weeks before anyone suspected trouble, Kylie Jenner was already in full crisis mode. While the world still saw her and Timothee Chalamet as Hollywood's most unexpected power couple, she was calling emergency meetings with Kris Jenner, gathering her sisters for strategy sessions, and coordinating with her business team about damage control. Because Kylie had seen the writing on the wall long before Timothee even realized he was writing it. The signs were everywhere. His calculated distance,
his intentions, and to probably ask him, hey, do you plan on dropping dong? Now, I'm here to let you guys know that Timmy and Kylie,
his team's interference, the way he treated their relationship like a business liability instead of a love story. So while he was busy protecting his indie credibility, she was 3 steps ahead, planning her exit strategy and making sure that when this relationship ended, she'd be the one walking away stronger. What happened in those secret meetings would determine not just how their romance died, but who would control the story of its death. And in the Kardashian Jenner playbook, controlling the story means controlling everything that comes after.
Either. There's a lot to this story. Let's talk about it. I have felt from day one that this relationship was a...
While everyone else was still buying into the fairy tale romance, Kylie Jenner was cataloging red flags like evidence in a court case. It started with the small things: Timothee's responses to her texts getting shorter and more delayed, his excuses for missing her product launches becoming more elaborate, and the way he'd check his phone constantly when they were together as if he was managing a crisis she wasn't allowed to know about.
Between their scene volunteering together seems like PR cleanup. I haven't seen Kylie volunteer before or since then, actually. Next year.
The turning point came during Paris Fashion Week when Kylie realized she was attending events solo while her boyfriend was literally in the same city. Timothee had commitments with luxury brands, private dinners with industry executives, and exclusive parties that somehow never had room for her. She'd post glamorous shots from her hotel suite while he was photographed at intimate gatherings she'd never even heard about. The message was clear. Their worlds weren't merging.
his intentions, and to probably ask him, hey, do you plan on dropping dong? Now, I'm here to let you guys know that Timmy and Kylie,
they were running parallel, and his was deliberately excluding hers. But the most damaging pattern was how he treated her business achievements. When Kylie Cosmetics hit major milestones, when she closed massive deals, when Forbes featured her on covers, moments that should have been celebrated together became solo victories she had to enjoy alone. Timothee was always in meetings or on set or dealing with some mysterious commitment that took priority over her biggest professional moments.
Kylie goes on his tour bus and just rides around with him on tour. And in February 2018, they welcomed their first child.
She started keeping a mental scorecard. How many times had she rearranged her schedule for his projects versus how many times he'd done the same for hers? The imbalance was brutal. The psychological warfare was even worse than the missed events. Timothee had a way of making her feel like she was asking for too much when she wanted basic acknowledgement. He'd frame his absence as protecting their privacy, his social media silence as keeping things special, his reluctance to integrate their lives as maintaining mystery.
Like 70s Vegas showgirl. 70s Vegas showgirl, sexy.
But Kylie had been in enough relationships to recognize manipulation disguised as romance. She knew the difference between someone who was genuinely private and someone who was ashamed to be seen with her. Friends started noticing changes in her behavior too. The confident, take-charge Kylie was second-guessing herself, asking for validation about things she'd never questioned before. She'd analyze their conversations for hidden meanings, screenshot his rare texts to friends for interpretation.
Timmy appreciates that Kylie's family is trying to get to know him, but he's wise enough to be aware that they almost...
And spend hours wondering if she was being paranoid or if her instincts were trying to save her from something her heart wasn't ready to accept. That's when she made the decision that would change everything. Instead of waiting around to see how this played out, she was going to take control of the narrative before it spun out of her hands. And that meant calling in the one person who'd never let a Kardashian Jenner go down without a fight. The call came at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday night. Kylie wasn't crying, wasn't hysterical, she was strategic.
And I looked at her stories, and there were just some of them, watching the show, and then there was one.
Mom, we need to talk tomorrow early. Kris Jenner knew that tone. It was the same voice Kylie had used when she decided to sell part of Kylie Cosmetics, when she ended things with Travis Scott, when she made moves that would define her empire. This wasn't a daughter asking for comfort. This was a CEO requesting a board meeting. They met at Kris's Hidden Hills mansion before sunrise, with coffee and laptops spread across the kitchen island like they were planning a corporate takeover.
5 cc's is an Allergan size. She has Allergan implants, it appears, and she has moderate profile. So the profile...
Kylie laid out everything, the missed events, the social media silence, the way Timothee's team treated her like a liability instead of an asset. But more importantly, she showed Kris the patterns. Screenshots of his delayed responses, calendars highlighting his convenient absences, and a timeline that proved his behavior was calculated. Not coincidental, Kris didn't sugarcoat her assessment. Honey, this isn't about love anymore. This is about him using you for visibility while keeping you at arm's length to protect his precious image.
There have been blind items for months alleging that Timothee Chalamet has not been faithful to Kylie Jenner and that the entire relationship is just for...
She'd seen this play before. Partners who wanted the benefits of dating a Kardashian Jenner without the responsibility of actually showing up for one. The difference was, Kylie had more power and influence than any of her previous relationships, which meant she also had more to lose if this went sideways. But the most brutal part of their conversation wasn't about Timothee. It was about Kylie herself. Kris forced her to confront how much she'd dimmed her own light to accommodate his comfort zone. When was the last time you felt like yourself in this relationship?
So you don't miss out on any of the tea. So The Sun just dropped this article this morning, and it reads, fully disapproves Timothee Chalamet's sister Pauline Ken.
The silence that followed was answer enough. Kylie had been so busy trying to fit into his world that she'd forgotten how much bigger her own world actually was. Kris's advice was vintage momager brilliance. You don't break up with someone like this reactively. You do it strategically. And you make sure that when it's over, everyone remembers why you're the prize, not the consolation. That meant planning every move, controlling every narrative.
I want them to break up. And I don't know why. Hear me out.
And ensuring that Kylie emerged from this situation looking stronger, more independent, and completely unbothered. The meeting ended with a timeline. Not for ending the relationship, but for positioning Kylie so perfectly that when it did end, she'd already be 3 steps ahead of whatever story Timothee's team tried to spin. Because in the Kardashian Jenner universe, heartbreak isn't just personal. It's an opportunity to remind the world exactly who holds the real power. Within 48 hours of her meeting with Kris,
Chalamet. So why? I mean, things don't seem to be adding up. If a provider man is what you need to be happy, then why hasn't this met?
Kylie had assembled what insiders now call the Council. Emergency sessions with Kim, Khloe, Kourtney, and Kendall that felt more like military strategy meetings than sister talks. These weren't casual family dinners, they were high-stakes gatherings where each sister brought their expertise to dissect what was really happening with Timothee. Kim, fresh from her own high-profile relationship experiences, was brutally direct about the power dynamics. He's treating you like you're lucky to be there instead of recognizing that he's lucky to have you.
You are fluent in the French.
Yeah, yes. Let's say 97%. I always give myself a little stopgap because it's not perfect.
She told Kylie during a late-night session at her Calabasas mansion. Kim had seen this pattern before. Partners who enjoyed the perks of dating into their family while simultaneously acting embarrassed by the association. Her advice was surgical. Document everything, prepare for the narrative war, and never let him flip the script to make Kylie look desperate. Khloe brought the emotional intelligence, helping Kylie process the psychological manipulation she'd been experiencing.
Timothee Chalamet had broken up. The last time that we had spotted them, I think, was in February at an award show. I do not think...
You're questioning yourself because he's trained you to, she explained during one particularly intense conversation. Khloe had her own experience with partners who used gaslighting to maintain control, and she recognized the signs immediately. The way Timothee made Kylie feel grateful for basic acknowledgement, the way he framed her needs as unreasonable demands. It was textbook emotional manipulation, disguised as artistic temperament. Kourtney, always the most direct, cut straight to the core issue.
Appearances to promote something. We know this. Then we also have this relationship, which is Kylie and Timmy, and they...
Do you actually miss him when he's gone, or do you miss the idea of what this relationship could be? The question hit harder than any of them expected. Kylie realized she'd been mourning the potential of their connection more than celebrating its reality. She was fighting for a version of Timothee that only existed in her imagination. The one who would proudly claim her, integrate their worlds, and treat their relationship like the partnership it should have been. Kendall, who understood the pressures of dating in their unique spotlight, helped Kylie see the bigger picture.
And 45cc implant, and that's basically the size of this one. And this is a big implant. The average implant size...
His career isn't more important than yours. His image isn't more fragile than yours. And his team isn't protecting anything that's actually worth protecting. Kendall had watched Kylie build an empire that dwarfed most Hollywood careers, and seeing her sister diminish herself for someone who couldn't appreciate that empire was infuriating. But the most powerful moment came when all 5 sisters were together, and Kim asked the question that changed everything. What would you tell one of us if we were in this situation?
He does look very delicate, but he's very sweet, he's very charismatic. So I see it, I get it. Him and Kylie Jenner, I love.
The answer was immediate and unanimous. They tell her to run, to value herself more, and to never let anyone make her feel small. That's when Kylie realized she'd been giving Timothee advice she'd never take herself. The sessions ended with a pact. No matter what happened next, the family would close ranks around Kylie's version of events. They'd amplify her success, celebrate her independence, and make sure the world remembered that Timothee Chalamet had dated up, not down.
The Love Trail Under the Spotlight, a complete expose of the love story of Kylie Jenner and Timothee Chalamet. First meeting in January 2000.
Because when you mess with one Kardashian Jenner, you mess with all of them, and they were about to remind him exactly what that meant. The family meetings were emotional preparation, but the business meetings were pure strategy. Kylie called an emergency session with her entire professional team: publicists, social media managers, brand executives, and legal advisors, treating the potential breakup like a corporate crisis that needed immediate damage control planning. Because for someone with $1 billion empire, personal relationships aren't just personal.
What they both bring to the table, I like the fact that they're so different.
They're business liabilities that require professional management. Her head publicist laid out the harsh reality. Kylie's brand had become subtly dependent on the Timothee storyline. Product launches had been timed around their rare public appearances. Social media content had been carefully crafted to hint at their romance without confirming it. And her image had shifted toward woman who tamed the indie darling. If the relationship ended badly, or if Timothee's team controlled the narrative, months of brand positioning could be destroyed overnight.
behind the scene pictures of the movie of him filming with the red gloves. He's eating a little wiener dog. And then here's another picture of him.
The social media team presented even more concerning data. Analytics showed that posts related to their relationship, however subtle, generated significantly more engagement than her solo content. Her audience had become invested in the love story. And losing that narrative thread could mean losing audience attention entirely. Worse, if the split looked like rejection or abandonment, it could damage the aspirational image that drove Kylie Cosmetics sales.
Nicer camera, but what made them change from such a private relationship where they were only kind of pictured once to such a public?
But the most strategic conversation happened with her business development team. They'd been quietly planning collaborations and partnerships that leveraged her association with Timothee's high fashion world. Luxury brands that had shown interest in working with her because of that crossover appeal might disappear if she was back to being just a reality star and beauty mogul. The financial implications were staggering. Millions in potential deals hung in the balance. Her legal team raised different concerns about reputation management and potential retaliation.
About Club Chalamet is for some odd reason, they are not fond of the relationship of Miss Kylie Jenner.
If Timothee's representatives decided to paint Kylie as a distraction or liability, it could affect everything from brand partnerships to custody arrangements with Travis Scott. They needed to ensure that any narrative shift protected not just her romantic image, but her role as a businesswoman and mother. The solution they developed was brilliant in its simplicity. Flood the market with content that positioned Kylie as thriving independently. Product launches that celebrated female empowerment.
Listen though.
I'm listening.
I want to see them out in public. What does that even look like?
That's what I'm saying.
Behind the scenes content, showing her business acumen, and strategic partnerships that had nothing to do with her relationship status. The goal was to make her professional success so visible and undeniable that any romantic drama would feel like background noise. They also planned a content calendar that could pivot instantly depending on how the relationship ended. If it was mutual and amicable, they'd emphasize her focus on family and business. If it was messy or one-sided, they'd lean into her independence and success.
The meme actor did not lack for female companionship last night without the reality star anywhere to be seen. And
every scenario had a corresponding PR strategy, ensuring Kylie would never be caught off guard by whatever story Timothee's team tried to sell. The meeting ended with assignments and deadlines. Each team member had specific responsibilities for protecting different aspects of her empire. Because while Kylie's heart might have been breaking, her business brain was already 3 moves ahead, ensuring that no matter how this love story ended, her success story would continue stronger than ever.
You socialize with each other?
Yeah, I mean, we interact on talk shows like these.
With her family's emotional support and her team's strategic framework in place, Kylie faced the hardest part of her plan, confronting Timothee directly about the relationship's future. But this wasn't going to be a tearful, desperate conversation. This was going to be a boardroom-level discussion where she laid out facts, set boundaries, and gave him one final chance to show up as an equal partner. Kylie spent days preparing for this conversation like she was prepping for the most important business negotiation of her life.
Oh, sure, but I mean, when you look deep into Timmy Chalamet's eyes, are his eyes up or are they down? Like, you
definitely down.
Definitely down. So he's.
She wrote down specific examples of his absence, documented the pattern of his team's interference, and created a list of non-negotiable requirements for the relationship to continue. This wasn't about begging him to change. It was about presenting him with a clear choice and making peace with whatever he decided. Her sisters helped her rehearse different scenarios. What if he denied the pattern? What if he promised to change but didn't offer specifics? What if he turned it around and made her feel like she was asking for too much?
Kylie Jenner and Timothee Chalamet are still going strong as TMZ released a behind-the-scenes video from a complete unknown premiere where they were there.
They role-played every possible response, ensuring Kylie wouldn't be caught off guard by his charm or manipulation tactics. Kim even helped her practice staying calm and factual, avoiding the emotional language that could be used against her later. The conversation was scheduled for a private dinner at her Holmby Hills mansion, neutral territory where she felt comfortable and confident. No paparazzi, no distractions, just the two of them and the truth about what their relationship had become.
180. It's just like Kylie Jenner could never be herself with Travis Scott. Was always looking over her shoulder.
Kylie even had her security team briefed, not because she expected drama, but because she wanted complete control over the environment and timing. Her approach was methodical and devastating in its clarity. She started with the facts. In the past 3 months, you've missed my major product launch, my sister's birthday party, and 2 family dinners, but you've attended 17 industry events without me. She wasn't accusatory. She was presenting data like a CEO reviewing quarterly performance. The numbers spoke for themselves.
And she felt like insecure when she dated him. He's like one of the main reasons she got lip fillers too, when he said that she was like a bad kisser and blah blah blah.
Then came the ultimatum, delivered with the same calm confidence she used in board meetings. I need a partner who shows up publicly and privately, who integrates our lives instead of compartmentalizing them, and who treats this relationship like it matters as much as your career. If you can't do that, I need to know now so we can end this with dignity instead of letting it die slowly. What happened next would determine everything, not just the fate of their relationship, but how the story would be told to the world.
Of each other, and you know what? I like that. I can't hate on that. I love it. I'm sure Lily did not even care about this situation, like she was there.
Because Kylie had learned something crucial from her years in the spotlight. The person who controls the conversation controls the outcome. And she was done letting anyone else hold that power over her life. Even before that final confrontation took place, Kylie was already executing the most crucial phase of her strategy, repositioning her public image so that whether the relationship survived or died, she'd emerge looking stronger than ever. This wasn't about spite or revenge.
Or is Kylie just feeling emotional? Fans are digging deeper. And guess what? Kylie hasn't posted Timothee in weeks.
It was about ensuring that her brand narrative never depended on anyone else's choices. The transformation started subtly with her social media content. Instead of the couple-adjacent posts and mysterious hints about her love life, Kylie began flooding her feed with power moves, behind-the-scenes shots of business meetings, glamorous solo appearances at industry events, and luxury lifestyle content that screamed independence. Every post was designed to remind the world that she was a self-made mogul who happened to be dating someone, not someone whose identity was tied to her relationship status.
Fashion events and award ceremonies without appearing alongside Kylie. 4th, Timothee as sister Pauline has expressed dissatisfaction with his relationship.
Her styling team was given specific instructions to elevate every public appearance. No more dressing to complement Timothee's aesthetic or matching his understated indie vibe. Kylie went full glamour. Custom couture that photographed like magazine covers, jewelry that cost more than most people's houses, and a presence that commanded attention from across any room. She needed to look like the kind of woman who grants access to her world, not someone grateful to be included in someone else's.
April 2023, they have been dating for over a year. They often have low-key outings like having dinner together, taking flights, or...
The guest list strategy was equally calculated. Kylie started appearing at events alongside the most powerful women in entertainment, fashion, and business. Photos of her deep in conversation with billionaire entrepreneurs, laughing with A-list actresses, and networking with luxury brand CEOs sent a clear message. Her circle was elite, international, and completely independent of Timothee's indie film world. Her business team coordinated product launches and brand announcements to coincide with this image refresh.
You guys know page 6 came in with this. That Kylie Jenner, she followed.
Major Kylie Cosmetics campaigns featured themes of female empowerment and self-sufficiency. Collaboration announcements with luxury brands reinforced her status as a global mogul. Press interviews focused on her business acumen, her role as a mother, and her vision for expanding her empire, with zero mention of her romantic life. But the most strategic move was how she handled mutual friends and industry connections. Instead of avoiding events where she might see Timothee, Kylie attended them looking so confident and successful that her presence overshadowed his.
But I love how, Pauline supports Kylie. And she goes to those fashion shows all the time in Paris.
She'd arrive later, leave earlier, and spend the entire time surrounded by people who treated her like the main event. The optics were perfect. She belonged in these spaces with or without him. Even her family's social media aligned with this strategy. The Kardashian Jenner sisters began posting more content featuring Kylie in business settings, celebrating her achievements, and highlighting her independence. The subliminal message was clear. Kylie was thriving, expanding her influence, and moving forward with unstoppable momentum. By the time her relationship status became public knowledge, the groundwork was already laid. Kylie had spent weeks proving that she was the prize, the power player, the one who elevated others simply by association. Whether she was single, taken, or somewhere in between, the world would see her as someone who chose her circumstances rather than reacted to them. While Kylie was publicly projecting strength and independence, behind the scenes, her team was conducting a masterclass in narrative warfare. The goal wasn't to destroy Timothee's reputation.
Couples can burn out if the emotional balance isn't there. Lesson 3, chemistry isn't everything. Her 2023 thing with Timothee.
It was to ensure that when the relationship ended, the story would be about Kylie's choice to prioritize herself, not about being abandoned or rejected by him. The campaign started with carefully placed blind items in gossip columns and entertainment blogs. Nothing traceable, nothing explicit, but strategic hints that painted a picture of relationship strain. Items like, which beauty mogul is tired of her actor boyfriend's team treating her like a secret?
Comes after potential breakup chatter swirled when Timothee was a no-show at Kylie's recent 28th birthday party.
Or, sources say this A-list couple's different priorities are causing tension. The beauty of blind items was plausible deniability. Kylie's team could deny planting stories while the narrative seeds were already growing. Her publicist had cultivated relationships with key entertainment journalists over the years, and now those investments paid off. Friendly reporters began receiving tips about Kylie's business expansion, her focus on family, and her desire.
Is only more proof that her and Timothee are actually broken up. As just the other day, Kylie shared her morning routine on TikTok with her
to date someone who could match her energy and ambition. These weren't hit pieces on Timothee. They were strategic repositioning pieces that made Kylie look proactive rather than reactive. The social media strategy was even more sophisticated. Kylie's team identified influential fan accounts and celebrity gossip pages, feeding them content that supported their preferred narrative. Photos of Kylie looking powerful and unbothered at business meetings, quotes about her focusing on her empire and
slightly droopy. This gives him that mysterious daydreaming look. Now, together, one is a
subtle hints about relationship imbalances began circulating organically through fan communities. Meanwhile, they monitored Timothee's team's media strategy closely. Industry sources revealed that his representatives were trying to control the narrative by emphasizing his busy work schedule and natural privacy. But Kylie's team was already 3 steps ahead, positioning those same qualities as evidence that he wasn't ready for a real partnership with someone of her caliber. The most brilliant part of their strategy was how they used Kylie's own success against the relationship.
Share the same management company, and you know they'll say like, why don't you go out with
Every business achievement, every luxury purchase, every solo appearance was framed as evidence that she was outgrowing the relationship naturally. Headlines began shifting from Kylie and Timothee's romance to Kylie's empire expansion and Kylie's independent era. The relationship wasn't ending because of drama. It was ending because she had bigger priorities. Entertainment industry insiders started receiving anonymous tips about the cultural mismatch between Kylie's world and Timothee's.
Obviously, the shirt had to be mine, so I spent $145 hairs on a shirt with holes in it, and I was so lazy to...
Sources suggested that while she was building a global empire, he was still focused on maintaining indie credibility. The implication was clear. She was ready for a power couple dynamic, and he was still playing in the minor leagues. The final proof that Kylie's strategy worked came in how seamlessly she transitioned from coupled to single without missing a beat. When the relationship officially ended, there was no messy tabloid war, no desperate attempts to win him back, and no period of public mourning that could damage her brand.
Wilder and Johnny Depp. And the big credit to Chalamet's success is he's a working man's actor. At 25, he has over 20 acting credits to his name and keeps on going.
Instead, the world watched a masterclass in how to end a high-profile romance while actually gaining power and influence. The media coverage was exactly what her team had orchestrated months in advance. Headlines focused on Kylie's business achievements, her role as a devoted mother, and her plans for expanding her empire into new markets. Entertainment outlets that had once dissected every detail of her relationship with Timothee now celebrated her independence and entrepreneurial vision.
Those are also Timothee's. Kylie did an interview with British Vogue recently, and she said that privacy is the key to their romance.
The narrative had shifted so completely that some publications treated the split as a positive career move rather than a personal loss. Her business metrics proved the strategy's success even more definitively. Kylie Cosmetics saw increased engagement and sales in the weeks following the split as her independence narrative drove new customer interest. Brand partnerships that had been hesitant during the relationship uncertainty now moved forward aggressively, with luxury companies eager to align with her self-made mogul image.
Does he like play with the kids? Or is he like, hey, you little rascals? Like, how could Mr. Yay?
The quarterly reports showed that being single was actually more profitable than being in a complicated relationship. But the most telling indicator was how little impact the split had on her daily operations. While other celebrity breakups created chaos, team turnover, and strategic pivots, Kylie's business continued expanding exactly as planned. Her social media content remained powerful and engaging, her public appearances stayed strategic and impactful, and her family relationships grew even stronger as the sisters rallied around her success.
Guaranteed to win an Oscar. Question for me is what kind of bitch you want to be. Michael Jordan's addicted to gambling and alcohol. Predecessor Leo.
Even more impressive was how she handled the inevitable attempts at reconciliation and public speculation. When Timothee's team reached out through intermediaries, suggesting potential reunion scenarios, Kylie's response was swift and final. She'd already moved beyond that chapter. When gossip outlets tried to create drama by reporting on their occasional industry event encounters, her calm, professional demeanor made any attempts at stirring controversy fall flat.
Sort of like a cult, and I mean this with the utmost respect, but they're sort of like the Branch Davidians of Calabasas. I'm not blaming the girls, but if
the long-term lessons were even more valuable than the immediate success. Kylie had proven to herself, her family, and her business partners that she could navigate a high-stakes personal situation without compromising her professional trajectory. The confidence boost from successfully managing such a complex scenario rippled through every aspect of her empire, making her more decisive in business deals, more strategic in partnerships, and more selective about future romantic investments. Industry insiders now point to Kylie's
He's saying that a lot of actors aren't doing it because they're too scared to go on these podcasts, and that's why there are less movie stars today, because back in the day...
Handling of the Timothee situation as a masterclass in modern celebrity crisis management. She'd managed to protect her brand, maintain her power, and emerge stronger from what could have been a reputation-damaging scandal. Most importantly, she'd proven that in her world, love interests come and go, but the empire she built for herself is permanent and unshakable. The final victory came months later when Timothee's career momentum slowed while Kylie's continued accelerating. The contrast was impossible to ignore.
That might have been my favorite role. Some of the other people that are also getting their stars, Miley Cyrus, Demi Moore, and Shaq. I mean, like, that's a
She'd chosen herself over the relationship, and that choice had paid dividends in every area of her life. It was a reminder that sometimes the best revenge isn't about destroying someone else's success, but about building your own to such heights that their absence becomes irrelevant. Kylie Jenner's secret meetings before her split with Timothee Chalamet weren't just about ending a relationship. They were about rewriting the rules of how powerful women handle heartbreak in the public eye.
Jenner written all over it. This is a PR stunt to help Kylie with a comeback. After the whole Selena...
While most celebrities let breakups happen to them, Kylie orchestrated hers like a CEO managing a corporate transition, ensuring that every outcome served her long-term interests. The real revelation isn't that she saw the end coming before he did. It's how she transformed potential devastation into undeniable strength. By the time their romance officially ended, Kylie had already repositioned herself so perfectly that the split looked like a strategic business decision rather than personal rejection.
Travis Scott, which is what started fueling the breakup rumors. Another report says that this is not true, and Kylie says they are in a happy...
She'd proven that in the modern celebrity landscape, the person who controls the narrative controls everything that follows. What makes her approach so brilliant is how she turned traditional relationship dynamics on their head. Instead of fighting to keep someone who was already mentally checked out, she invested that energy into reminding the world why she was the prize in the first place. Instead of waiting to see how he would handle the breakup, she predetermined the story and made sure her version was the only one that mattered. The lasting impact goes beyond just this one relationship. Kylie demonstrated that when you're building an empire, personal relationships should enhance your power, not threaten it. She showed that sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is to walk away from someone who makes you smaller, even when the world thinks you should be grateful for their attention. In the end, those secret meetings weren't about planning the destruction of a romance. They were about planning the protection of a legacy. And for Kylie Jenner, that legacy will always matter more than any love story that required her to dim her own light to make someone else comfortable.